So if you're talking to someone who is shopping for senior living, specifically independent living,
yeah,
what sets this apart? Top three things.
People, service, and the building.
Okay. Is there anything you'd change?
I changed some of the colors and some of the decorations here. It needs updated. Yes,
Okay.
they do. They do. We had the opportunity of possibly having new service or a
remodel
of about $4.5 million, and they pulled it. Apparently, they went to other locations. Okay, it upset a lot of people. It upset me too. But that's what it was, as far as I'm concerned. But that's what it is. We have, as I said, activities going on here all the time, and we have the residents. One thing I'm very proud of is I've been here 3 years. I was vice president first and then president, and every year you're only allowed to give donation to the employees one time a year.
Okay.
That's it, just once.
So no tipping.
No tipping.
Okay.
No gifts. You can't even give them a candy bar.
Okay.
They're not even it's supposed to take a candy bar.
Okay.
In any way, shape, or form. But during the month of November, we collect. And the first year, I think I was able to do $16,000.
Wow.
No, not done with you yet. Okay. Then the second year was 20-some thousand, and last year was almost $30,000.
And how many employees are there? Do you know?
There's about 40.
Okay, so
that is hourly employees, not management.
Okay.
We don't cover management. Management has their own party, which we aren't supposed to know about. But it's there. But
and so you divide that up amongst the regular employees.
Hold on. Okay. First of all, is our monthly sheet. All the activities. All this is yours.
Okay.
It's yours to take.
We'll take this and we'll get some footage of it.
Whatever you want to do.
Okay.
Okay.
Fantastic.
And you
robust.
Have that. Then a sample of
the menus.
The menus. Okay.
Okay.
Now this you didn't see, as far as food is concerned. But this comes out every Saturday night. That's our menu for the week.
Oh, I see. Wow. Okay.
It's all there. Okay.
Okay. That's pretty cool.
That is. And that's a sample.
And that's the daily.
That's a sample of the daily sheet.
Okay.
As far as that's concerned. I have been asked a number of times in doing these interviews why I moved here. Right there.
Okay. 24-hour staffing at the front desk, daily checking on each resident is one of the things that's important to you.
You get a phone, you have a button to push. If you don't push the button or it doesn't connect, you get a remote phone call. If you don't answer that, you get a physical phone call. Don't answer that, they're at your door. And they have come across the number of people in trouble, that type of thing.
Yeah.
Some have passed.
Yeah.
That thing there. But it's 24 hours.
Okay.
I think that's huge.
Yeah.
Other places like Whispering Pines, they have 2 managers that sleep on staff, on site. Marina shuts down at 8 o'clock. You call at 2 o'clock in the morning, you got somebody to talk to.
So this says that there's Wi-Fi in common areas. So do you pay out of pocket if you want Wi-Fi in your own unit?
Included in our monthly is TV.
Okay.
If I want internet, I subscribe, and I subscribe to Spectrum because our TV is Spectrum. So I go and I combine the two.
I see.
But people have Verizon. People have some other ones that are out there. They do it on their own. It's up to them.
Okay. So that's one expense that you would pay.
Yeah, right.
All of your utilities are covered, your meals are covered, transportation, but you would pay for internet.
Internet.
And of course, if you have cell phone service, that's a separate thing as well.
Well, that's normal.
Of course.
No matter what.
Of course.
As far as that's concerned. Okay. There's a quick list of things we have here.
Pinochle, poker, trivia, bingo, bridge, canasta, Wii bowling, library, engaged life, which is activities and which is a variety of things. If you do not see a program that interests you, please do not hesitate, and you can start your own club or group if other people are interested in joining. Sure.
That's how Wonder Woman got started, because they wanted to do something special.
And what is Wonder Woman? I heard you mention that earlier.
Okay. Wonder Woman are ladies that get together, and they have made blankets and dolls and little hearts for the kids in the hospitals.
Oh, nice.
Okay.
So it's all donated.
And Big Wake. Okay. And Big Wake took them to lunch also.
Oh.
Very nice.
Yeah, very nice.
Yes. And the ladies there, they go hearts. My one granddaughter, who is in Big Wake, is in the pediatric ward. Okay, newborns.
She works there.
Yeah, she works there. These little things. And Nicole said, whenever she found out where the hearts came from here, she was impressed. She was impressed. Okay, this is my little baby. Once a month, we do a newsletter, okay? And it's contributed by the Engaged Life staff, other people, that type of thing, other writers. I do a lot of cut and paste. Or copy and paste. Okay, we do a write-up on a resident. Okay, and we explain this as far as who Irene is.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, and go from there. We have different things. This is one of the parties, as far as young our couples that was over there dancing. Had cornhole party, and we have the party there, and something we go think about, and we have that as far as that's concerned. There's all kinds of tips and jokes and stuff like that in here. Every month we have a Wii bowling tournament.
Oh.
And this one, Bill was a winner. Walter, as you saw, was second. As I said, he's 96.
96, that's impressive.
And Judy came in third.
Okay.
Okay, as I told you, the ice ball special. Pictures from that.
Okay.
Yeah, go from there. And this is what we call spotlight. We take an employee, and we go and write about that employee, as far as the employee is concerned. Okay, and we do that. Okay. And again,
birthdays, movies.
And I threw this in just because it was so hot.
Christmas is only 5 months away.
Threw it in.
So you're the editor.
Yeah, and that's what the niches.
Oh, okay.
I have a committee that goes around once a month.
Oh, and someone wins.
There's no win.
Oh, okay.
They just get the picture in there.
They're featured.
They're featured.
Okay.
The committee goes and tells me what apartments I go take pictures, and we go through the pictures and cut it down to one.
Okay.
And that's what goes in there.
That's fun.
But that's yours also.
Okay. There's a lot in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Normally, it runs about 12 to 14 pages. It goes in. Yes, I'm very proud of it. It has taken on a life of its own. That people hear and look forward to reading it, that type of thing, and go from there. I will tell you this: at one time, this place I called Atria Titanic. We had an executive director that should not have been in the job. They changed vice presidents. He came in, checked it out, escorted her out of the building. Brought in a person by the name of Jess. And I thought he was crazy, because all he told me, she was from Macy's, and she knew that's what she was. She had no connection whatsoever with seniors living in a building. I thought, to myself, his name is Jason. I said, Jason, I thought to myself, Jason, you got to be out of your total cotton picking mind. But she had two things: management skills and people skills. And she came down and she won this place over. She went from table to table at lunch and dinner, sitting around and talking, just talking, going there. Not standing up, she'd be down, bent down at
on
table level, at their level, and which is huge.
It is.
Okay, that's a management technique that is totally been, wiped out, but it's there, and it always works. And she has a personality to go with it. So we got that. So we had lucky, but she just got transferred. Thanks, Jason. Over to Cary. Cary's a new location. We found out that Jess, when she worked for Macy's, she was a troubleshooter. She put out fires.
I see.
And whenever there was a store that needed help getting back, that's where she went. And Atria is going to do the same thing with her, apparently.
Yeah.
Okay? Move her over there and get her as far as being at the location in Cary.
It's a beautiful, beautiful community.
It is. It is. It's not my style.
Yeah.
Okay? In any way, but it's there. But they're way down. She has her thing cut out for her. She has some staff there that are top notch. The guy on maintenance, Dom, he's totally great. Totally. He's something else. So we have, as far as the thing there, and she's asked me if I could go down and help with possibly getting residence council started down there.
Okay.
And I told her no problem whatsoever. That's because we have a town hall meeting once a month, and I run it because being president, I get the opportunity. And it works. Yeah, it works. Thing there. So we have, as I said, it's a family of friends, and we have people that take care of us. I feel are there. That's what it is. I don't know if you felt it downstairs in the dining hall.
Oh, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
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 That's it.
I think staff is super, super important if you're choosing to live in senior living, and just feeling like you're comfortable. So there's a lot of things that you have to kind of sort out, like location, if you have family, all of those kinds of things. But it does boil down to who's taking care of you during the day, who's there to help you if you need help.
Yeah. We have there's a number of people that we have. It's grown in many cases. We could have more people. At one time, bridge used to be king here. King. 4 or 5 tables. Now they're down to 2.
Yeah.
Again, these places evolve.
Sure.
Their changeover happens all the time. The pool table. They took it down finally, a plaque on the wall. They had pool tournaments.
Wow.
That was that well used. I mean, it was used almost every day, going in and out all the time. Now it's hardly ever used. We've talked about kicking it up, and I think we're going to give it a shot at getting kicked back up again.
Okay.
So it takes a little time. But again, looking at it to be run by residents.
And that room over there is where it's like a pub area with billiards.
It's a sports lounge.
Okay.
We they started cornhole, and we didn't know what we were going to get into. Now we have ladies and guys.
Wow.
Doing cornhole. We're gonna have a contest tournament with 3 Atria locations. Hopefully next month or this month, down in Cary, where Jess is. She's the one that put it together as far as doing the tournament. And we practice about 3 times a week. And have a lot of fun, and people come in and watch and cheer and yell and everything else. As far as I could say, same thing with bowling. They could put 4 people on the screen at one time, and it goes from there. And that's what they do.
Yeah. Yeah, there's 3 Atrias here in the Triangle area, one in Durham, one in Cary, and then this one in the North Raleigh area.
Yeah, I've not been to one in South Point, Durham. I've not been there yet.
It's the one difference with it is independent living, but it also has, I think, about 20 beds, and I could be a little off, but anyway, it has a small area that's assisted living.
Yep.
So you could live in.
You could move over.
Yes, you could move over. One of if you're a couple and one needs more help. That you can do that under the same roof. But it's a similar building. I think the facilities are very, very similar. To me, they are.
Yeah, Joyce, who runs it, used to be here. She was the executive
I've met her,
and then the person that replaced Joyce was the one that should not have been in there.
Yeah.
No people skills whatsoever. It was a shame.
Happens sometimes, but the good news is that upper management figured that out and made some changes.
Town hall meetings were nothing but almost yelling at each other.
Oh gosh.
It was not good.
Well, and here's the thing: if you live in a community where it starts out one way and it changes, you're not locked into a lease. No. So you can either be a part of the change or you can make a change.
A number of people did change.
Yeah.
A number of people did walk.
Yeah.
A number went over to Verena. Verena made it very advantageous money-wise for them to go over there.
Yeah.
But it also what happened when Jess came here and the seen what happened, couples moved back. It worked out very nicely.
Yeah. Well, and to your point, you always have the option to negotiate.
That's it.
Whenever you're looking to move somewhere, ask questions, and then if you've decided on a place,
it is real estate and it is negotiable.
Yeah.
No matter what, as far as
pretty much everything in life is negotiable.
Just about. And we have, we would like to see new carpeting. We'd like to see decorations that are nice and bright and everything else. I want to see the hallways painted white or something like that. That would be brighten it up. These are all LED lights in here. Okay, but because of the paint, it absorbs too much of the light. As far as I'm concerned, so it doesn't reflect the lighting. I would like to see downstairs tapestries hanging on the wall to absorb sound. Okay, that thing. I've already expressed that. I'm not adverse to opening my mouth. And I've written a few letters. And some have worked out, some haven't.
Yeah.
We used to have coffee cups every day. Lunch and dinner, breakfast, lunch and dinner, coffee cups on the table. No reason whatsoever to have coffee cups. And we tried. Wrote a letter, tried. And all of a sudden they disappeared for lunch, they disappeared for dinner, then they disappeared for lunch. And the only time they go out now is for breakfast, which is the right time because get the coffee pot there because that's what people are going for.
Right.
They take their cup and they go over and serve themselves.
Yeah. Well, back in the day, people would have even at dinner maybe a decaf or something, but it's become.
There's some have.
Yeah, but bring out the cup for them if they want it.
Yes, that's stymieing. Just like today, you wanted water and you wanted tea. That's what the servers are there for. That's what it's there for.
That's right.
A lot of us, myself included, will go and get my own tea and coffee.
I saw a gentleman, you kind of pointed over to him, and I thought, I think he's taking care of his own refill or something. Yeah. So you have a bar there within the dining area that you can go just get whatever you want. Yeah. Now, some of these communities have like a snack station. Do you have anything like that? You do not?
No.
Okay, so that's one thing that's not available.
No.
But you have a full kitchen, so you can certainly stock it yourself and have whatever you need.
Yeah, and also we're having a happy hour, and guess what? We'll have food. They have an activity. They have food.
And how often do you have happy hour? Is it on a Friday?
Our happy hour is basically Wednesday.
Okay.
But Friday has turned into a happy hour, and all of a sudden other happy hours pop up.
Okay.
Come up.
Well, they look pretty happy up where they were playing bridge with their wine earlier.
People like their wine. The two couples at the table at the wine at Stick and Conley. They're not wine connoisseurs. They just enjoy wine. Okay.
Yeah.
And I know that he brought it down. And great couple. Everything else. They're not married. They just live together.
Okay.
It's acceptable.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. There's no stigma whatsoever. Hey, we don't have time for stigmas.
Yeah.
It's not there.
Right. Yeah.
And people find happiness in a way, and that's it. That's fine. Okay, we have a lot of fun. That's what we want to do. The more fun you have, the better it is.
So, advice to someone considering, what would be the things that you think they need to do to figure out where the right place for them is and when the right time is?
First of all, figure out their finances.
Okay.
That you should do. Like I said, before I came here, I drove for a assisted and memory care unit called Caroline.
Oh, like you were the transportation guy.
I was there for 2 years.
Okay.
I drove for 2 years, so I knew these places.
Oh.
And my family was wanting us to, after me, not exactly Elaine, me, to give it consideration. And then I saw that I needed to do something as far as the wife was concerned.
Okay.
I sat down with the numbers and mortgage payment, HOA, everything else, electric, gas, taxes, okay, what it is per month, what I pay for gas. I might fill my tank up once a month.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah.
My car will sit out there for 4 or 5 days. Okay, that's it. And they take us once a month to dinner. If you would like to go, we go. This time they're going to Nantucket. We've already been there, so we're not going to go on this one. But we went to the sake house, the sushi house. Went there. That's it. So what you got to do is look at the finances. See if you can do it as to what you have and what is going out. There's always a yearly raise. Always.
Yeah.
Always a year.
3 to 4% most communities.
Well, our first one was 19%.
You came right after
COVID.
So they hadn't had a raise. Most of these communities did not. So just know that was an outlier. And most communities did have a huge rate change right at the end of COVID because they didn't up the rates during COVID because they weren't able to offer as many amenities because people were really kind of in their units, to be safe. So just to be clear,
I know
that's a different thing. Yeah. And so 3 to 4% is pretty much the average, most of the communities.
Hi, Dad. That lady 5 months ago had a bone marrow transplant.
Wow. And she's doing well?
Doing fantastic.
Oh, good for her.
She walks around this building any kind of weather. I take the dog out, okay, and I go out this way, come around over here, go down through the woods, come out around. And she's walking. She does it 3 times by my one. She is good.
Good for her.
She got a personality. You just want to kiss her. She's a fantastic lady.
Nice.
But she went through a lot with the bone marrow and everything else. No, but getting back.
So finances, figure out your finances.
See if you can afford it as far as money is concerned. Know what you have in the bank, your assets as far as money is concerned. House, you keep it off to the side. As far if you have a house, to me, I kept it off to the side as far as money is concerned.
Okay, so you looked at what you had as far as investments besides the house and didn't add that money in?
I did not.
So that's your slush fund.
Basically,
once you sold
emergency
the house.
care.
Okay.
That's what I did.
Okay.
Did that. Said okay, and I was at the desk. I turned around and said, "I think we can do it." And that was it. The floodgates opened. My daughter found out we were running from one to another.
Because your kids were concerned about you, about Elaine in particular.
They wanted us out of there, and my daughter especially, and she worked herself something fierce to help us get over here and go to places and that type of thing. And we spent a lot of gas, a lot of time, and going to different places. Like I said, some places just walked in and walked out.
Okay.
they, I'm not going to name them because it just wasn't our
right.
style.
Right. And so, did you get it down to a couple of top contenders?
I got down. To me, I had in my own mind 3.
Okay.
And the other 2 got wiped out very quickly, as far as I'm concerned, for to me obvious reasons.
Okay.
And everything pointed here.
Okay.
As far as Atria overage and that type of thing. So, and we went in and we talked and we got again negotiated and came up with a solution as far as us coming here.
Okay.
Did the paperwork, did the yard sales, did house sales, and all those other stuff. House sold in one day. Okay.
Well, 3 years ago, yeah.
Yeah.
That's that was a given.
Yeah. That's when the housing prices were going up. And I had a townhouse. I was a middle unit of 3. I guess had 1,900 square feet. And I put the house up for a number, and I was told by my neighbors, "You're out of your mind. You're totally out of your mind." Okay. I got 97% of that.
Good for you.
Okay. Just read it. All you had to do is let's see what was going on. That type of thing. Because I liked my townhouse. I did. I liked it a lot. It was my independence. But going out or doing something, going to the store was a time out. Going out. Nothing to do.
Yeah.
Nothing to do.
Okay.
Okay.
So when you say it was your independence, do you feel less independent here?
Not now.
Okay.
Not now.
So in your mind, it was your independence when you lived there.
Yeah.
But now you see it
I had to get
differently.
over that hump.
Okay.
Get over that mountain, and we did it, and I'm very satisfied that we did do it.
Yeah. Often I feel, I talk to clients who felt that way, that they were going to lose independence or lose a quality of life when they would move.
It's a new life.
Okay, it's a different life.
It's a different life. Okay, it's almost like being on vacation. We go out to dinner for lunch and dinner all the time. Okay, at home.
Because you don't have really any responsibilities.
No.
You mentioned earlier you don't have to trim the bushes.
No.
You don't have to clean your house.
No.
You don't have to do any maintenance.
No. I don't have a paintbrush in my hand at all.
Stop! You're a little giddy there.
Okay. No, it's as I said, we go out for lunch and dinner. Go out to dinner. We go out.
Yeah.
And that's going out our door and going downstairs and ordering what the hell we want to have. Sometimes we bring our own stuff down. They have tuna here that I like, but I like it a little different. So I have my own Miracle Whip. I bring down, mix it up, and I'm happy as hell.
Okay.
Okay. But the tuna fish itself is all right by itself.
Okay.
So, as again, we have the variety as far as meals are concerned. You can almost always find something to do. And going out, we've gone out, not that much, but we've gone out.
Now, do you have some communities will have excursions to different things, concerts or different things like that? Do you do any of that?
We did last year. We went to the Amanda Hall for the pop series. We did that, but we didn't do it this year. As far as excursions going places, very few.
Okay.
Very few are going on here. We got one hell of a lot of things going on here, as you see. The sheets are daily. The daily sheets are full.
Yeah.
Go from there. Like I said, there's Reddick. He's sitting over there. He's waiting for happy hour.
Oh, I see.
He's ready to go. Okay.
He's a little early.
At 4:30, you go downstairs. At 4:15, you go downstairs, and there's normally 6 to 8 people waiting for those doors to open to go to dinner.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Same thing with breakfast in the morning. 6 to 8 people are sitting outside that door waiting to go to breakfast.
Which is kind of like a cruise ship too.
Yes.
Yeah.
And cruises are our lifestyle as far as.
That was like how you like to vacation.
Yeah, we did something like 27 or 28 cruises.
Wow, that totally makes sense now that you say that, and I had never put that together before, but that it totally makes sense because
it parallels.
Yeah, it
very
sure
much.
does.
It very much parallels.
It's all the same fun. You're just not stopping in Italy or France or Antigua. Yeah.
But the one thing I've always, when we were doing cruises and people would question us and that type of thing, I said, well, I tell you this. Every one of us have our shield. we have our shield in front of us. We don't want to, people to penetrate that shield. You go on a cruise, that shield disappears. You'll go out on a dance floor and put on a hula hoop and everything else. You don't care.
Because you're never going to see those people again.
You'll never see them again, but you're going out there to have fun. Okay? Pool party. You'll go dive in. What the hell? It's there. Go dive in.
I could go on a cruise and just spend all day watching the people.
Yeah. No, but living in these facilities, if you partake in the activities, it parallels a cruise.
Okay.
To me.
Yeah. Well, I agree. I think, that's how I refer to it, is for people who say it's just not for me. I think a lot of times, I remember at 7 years old going to my great-grandmother's nursing home. And literally remember the thought, I never want to live in a place like this.
It was an old folks home.
It was, and it didn't smell that great, and it sure wasn't appealing. And so I think some people still think
old folks.
Yes, that's what it's going to be, and they don't understand that there's wine and there's fun and there's trips and your housekeeping, it's all taken care of. It's a totally different thing.
Yeah.
Than what a lot of people envision. And that's the whole reason behind this video series, is to really kind of break that wide open so you can see there's real people who are enjoying themselves. This is not a place to grow old and die. You
got to chip away at that thought as far as not being correct.
Right. Right. Yeah, exactly. That's what this is all about, is to show the open the doors and let everybody see the reality of it. Yeah.
Sure. And I think we have, I know we have one of the best. That's it in a nutshell. The people and the staff make up a building. And nothing better.
It's like a family, a whole new family you gain.
It's a family. Yeah. As I told you, we have once a year as far as donations are concerned. And then on about December 15th, we have these chairs lined up on both sides here. Okay, chairs and everything else. And bring the staff up, the hourly staff, and they're in the sports lounge. And we have our own pastor too.
Okay.
Oh yeah, Ken, we call him. But what happens is that I'm standing up here at the table with their envelopes, and we give them their money in Christmas cards, not money envelopes. Christmas cards. Okay, part of the season. And Ken is up there, and he's the town crier. He calls out their name, and they come down there, and he's slapping hands
like a pageant.
They're slapping hands, people on both sides and everything. It's one big party.
Nice.
And then at the end, we have a picture of the whole thing, the whole group, as far as I'm concerned. And I don't know if I can get it up real quick.
It speaks to how much you think of the people that you see every day, and that it shows that appreciation for sure.
Yeah, that's my wife and the luau. Okay, you don't have to be crazy to work here, but every little bit helps. Seriously. I'm not going to be able to get this up real quick.
It's okay. What do your kids think about when they come visit? They like it here?
Oh, they think it's nice. It's taken care of.
They have peace of mind.
They have peace of mind. They know that what thing is. I had a problem here about 2 weeks ago, and it just so happened I had dinner with my 3 granddaughters, and over at the Saki house. We came back to our apartment, went up there, and we're sitting there, and my son and his wife came in, and we're just talking and everything else. And all of a sudden, I started having pain and sweating and what have you. And, it was a direct line to it. And I wound up at the ER. So, I even frightened my granddaughters who were nurses. So, but it came out. It's perfectly clear. Did all the blood tests, did all the stress tests, did the echo and everything else.
Your heart's okay.
So the only thing I can figure now is gastro. So I got to follow up this week coming up. Next week coming up with my doctors to see about going from where to go from here, because I don't want to go through that again. Yeah. It hurt. It hurt. It was not nice. I did not feel good.
I'm sorry.
Hey.
But I'm glad your heart's okay. Hopefully you'll get a clear bill of health.
Yeah, we have good times as far as the things are concerned. Okay, I'm not going to be able to pull it up. I'm sorry to say.
It's okay. Oh, Lisa's waiting on us.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize you came along.
Yeah. She's very good. She's very good.
You're a lurker.
So, is there anything else
I think that you've done a fantastic job. Thank you so much. Really appreciate you taking the time to spend with us.
That's the easiest thing I'll do all day. Go from there. Seriously.
I don't blame you.
No. Oh.
I think I want your job someday.
Oh.
I think that'd be a lot of fun. Meet new people, and yeah, that'd be right up my alley. Okay.
Yeah.
Linda and Stan, wonderful couple, and they were taking trips and going on cruises and safaris and things. Really enjoying their retirement. He's a retired dentist in the area. And one morning he woke up and his legs were kind of wobbly and he didn't feel good. Went to the hospital and he was in the midst of having had a fairly rare spinal stroke.
Wow.
Him paralyzed from the waist down. And in an instant, their lives were completely changed and disrupted. Mm-hmm. And the alternative, there was two alternatives. One, you stay home and retrofit your house and all of that.
Sure.
Trying to stay home and spend a lot of money and effort.
He's in the power chair.
He said it happened in an instant.
Yeah.
Or, because he is paralyzed from the waist down, he uses a Hoyer lift and would only be qualified for the skilled nursing, which is not a good option for him because they can't live together.
Yeah, yeah.
So the alternative was, come here, we have care agency on site. They can use the Hoyer lift with you, do a little 15-minute drive-by visits in the morning and evening, and then the rest of the time you can live a pretty great and fairly normal life.
Yeah.
But Linda was not at all convinced. Linda did not want to leave home. Did not.
Yeah.
He came here just absolutely kicking and screaming. Paige Van Letten, it was Paige's client because they use both as hair.
Sure.
Paige and her kids literally dragged her here. The first time I met her, she was like this, wouldn't talk to me, and was just really resistant. And she's one of our biggest advocates now of it's a great life that we live here, and I love being here and being around other people. And so I asked her, if we pulled you aside at happy hour, would you give some sort of synopsis? And she said absolutely.
Wonderful. Yeah.
So she'll be the first one to say I did not want to be here, but I do now.
Well, if anybody can get her here at Paige is really good.
No, they're a wonderful story, and I tell their story a lot because again it highlights the scope of what we can really do here and what a great alternative it is with our services and stuff versus going to assisted living or worse. And especially for a couple, because a couple can stay together and still have one half of the couple get some of those services and get some of the things that they need and live together and live well together.
Right.
So,
and the enjoyment that goes along with it, because we have entertainment at night and that type of thing, and he's able to pull his chair up over there, watch the entertainment, goes there, and we have that.
Yeah,
it's all there.
For as unfortunate a circumstance stroke.
Yeah.
It didn't affect any of his cognitive ability, any of his speech.
Wonderful.
No.
Just from the waist down.
Yeah.
He's paralyzed.
Yeah.
But otherwise, he's still a very functional, vibrant
Sure.
person. And this was a great alternative for them to be able to live here. So, yeah, we've got everything under the sun. On any given day, we have independent living folks, we have assisted living folks in the building. We even have a couple of people that are really more skilled nursing. Him or somebody who is bedridden. And on any given day, we have at least one that's actually transitioned. But they get to stay all under the same roof and, seeing their same friends.
Are you picking up what she's? No. Okay, I wondered about that. So.
Well, we can go. I was thinking that before happy hour, we can go sit in a more intimate setting.
Sure.
Talk about some specifics of what we offer here.
I do.
What we are and what we aren't.
Right.
One thing I will make mention of, for him to get a shot, there's 2 little blue houses over there.
Yeah.
Take a shot of those. See those?
Oh, yeah.
Flowers?
What's the significance?
Those are a place for mom awards of best place.
Oh, okay.
2023, 2024.
Okay. Okay.
Place for mom.
Yeah.
Which is one of the biggest referral
I'm sure.
agencies out there
Yeah.
that has the biggest breadth of and biggest reach in terms of their advertising stuff. The vast majority of leads that come to us from a place.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So, thank you.
Anytime.
Truly.
Seriously.
Yeah, appreciate it.
If you want, you can always get in touch with us if you want to talk anymore.
Okay.
If it's up to get a hold of Lisa, she'll go and get a hold
Thank
of me.
you.
No
And
problem.
please thank Elaine for allowing us to go.
Oh, no.
Because somebody had run the vacuum or something in there.
No.
Like, no? Oh, it
No.
was just, well, gosh.
I
See, I
told
would
you,
have been a flighted bumblebee.
That area we don't use.
Okay.
And
Okay.
that's
And this is, that's an industry award over there. This is an Atria Senior Living Award. But those are prized possessions within Atria and are not easy to come by. And it means everybody in every department has done their job exceedingly well.
That's fantastic.
So, yeah. Walter.
He has a new vocation.
Walter. They have fun.
Oh, no, it's okay. It's okay. Yeah. You can go right on through. Yep.
Hi, how are you? Good. So I don't know where you want to sit in here. If Bob, you want to sit over there and we sit over here.
Yeah, that's probably good. Let me give you.
We want to sit by the candy.
Probably not our best choice.
Here, let's put the candy over there and we'll just
have the orchid.
Yeah, we'll just have the orchid. Let me close this so it's quieter.
And we don't need fill light. We're good. It's pretty light in here.
It makes a difference. Actually, it does a little bit.
Does it?
Okay.
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 Yeah, there's something about that with the television people, I guess.
Is that half dead or half alive? Or I can put the other flowers over here if it
No,
looks
it's
better.
fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're here with Lisa Ward at Atria, and Lisa, your official title is
Community Sales Director.
Okay.
Yep.
And how long have you been here?
Just 6 years now. I just got my 6-year badge.
I saw that on your badge.
Yep. So I actually started with the company when I moved my mom into our South Point Walk building. I knew nothing of senior living, was looking for a great place for my own mother to live, and picked the Atria South Point Walk building for a lot of reasons. And about 3 weeks into her tenure there, the executive director pulled me aside and said, "Lisa, you should be my community sales director." I went, ha, 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 oh God, you're serious. And one thing led to another, and here I am in a second building and 6 years in. So yeah, I love what I do. I always tell people this is the hardest job I've ever had. This is the least amount of money I've ever made in my adult career, and it's the best job I've ever had. And I can't imagine doing anything else.
So what's your favorite thing about it?
watching people thrive, taking people from being at home where they're barely surviving or not even surviving, and they've lost a spouse, they're in a house that's not well cared for, they're not eating well, they're not functioning well, they're lonely, and bringing them here and watching them thrive and just really come alive and have a good second chapter to their life, a good next chapter. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's really rewarding.
So I know this Atria in particular, Atria Oak Ridge, has a special certification, mm-hmm. is it? So can you explain a little bit about that?
Yep.
Because it's quite rare.
Yeah, it is. It's rare in the grand scheme of things because it only exists in North Carolina, first of all.
Okay.
And it only exists in certain of the counties in North Carolina. I think there's 11 or 12 properties that are part of this registration, but it's called an MUHS, or fondly referred to as a MUAS. It's Multi-Unit Assisted Housing with Services. It's a mouthful. Registration with Department of Health and Human Services in North Carolina. And it came about because maybe 7 years ago, they put a moratorium on licensing of new assisted living beds in the area,
okay.
which was horrible. It didn't well serve the growing population, mm-hmm. the growing senior population. Right. So out of outrage, the Department of Health and Human Services got together and said, look, if you are in independent living and if you have certain things in place like overnight staff, daily check-ins, care agency on site that can provide 15-minute increment, drive-by visits with folks, therapy services, OT, PT, etc. If you have all of these things in place, then you can be registered with the state as a MUAS building. And so it allows us to keep people here longer. Mm-hmm. It allows us to utilize long-term care policies if someone's got one. Mm-hmm. So rather than having to go to a licensed assisted living community to use a long-term care policy or to get those services, they can stay here. Mm-hmm. And it's really beneficial, especially for couples, because when you have a couple, they're never at the same trajectory of health at
right.
the same time.
Right.
There's going to be one or the other that's declining
mm-hmm.
faster than the other. And so to keep a couple together and give them both the services that they need and emotionally a place where they both want to be, where they can thrive, mm-hmm. is really a challenge. And it's probably the biggest challenge that I run into in senior living when I'm working with families is mom and dad are both here and mm-hmm. both still alive, which is a great blessing, but one is declining physically, one's maybe declining cognitively.
Right.
And how do we keep them together and provide for both of them and not, burn up all of our assets
right.
and throw them all at one? How do we do that? And the best way to accomplish it is in a hybrid type of community like we have, mm-hmm. where we can provide the services that they need in little increments and keep them together and maybe even use a policy, a long-term care policy if they've mm-hmm. got it. So, yeah.
Does aid and attendance come in as well? Is that available?
Yeah, potentially, yeah. Aid and attendance, just like just like the title of it, you have to have attendance mm-hmm. in, a certain amount of attendance with one of the branches of military. So it's the benefit is going to be based on that length of service and length of attendance. Aid is also necessary. So if you require some aid with ADLs or activities of daily living, mm-hmm. then those are the two things that qualify you for that.
Right.
It is a long, arduous process to apply for.
Yes.
It is the government after all. It can take sometimes 10, 11 months to get through the process of application. Mm-hmm. But the good news is they pay in arrears. So if you're going to get a $2,000 a month payout from mm-hmm. that, your first check might be for $20,000 for a 10-month application period, and then $2,000 a month thereafter. Mm-hmm. So it does pay in arrears, but it is a long process to go through. One thing that I can tell people about aid and attendance is please, please, please do not go through third parties. There's a bunch of different third-party agencies that will promise to people, we can get you through that process faster. No, you can't. It's the government. They work slow. And we can get you more of a benefit than you would on your own. And the answer is no. Your benefit is based on fact and how long your attendance in the middle, branch of military was. Mm-hmm. There are companies that promise those things, and in return, they take $1,000 or $1,200 fee, and it doesn't go any faster. And they didn't get any more. They just paid that, third-party agency a $1,200 fee.
Okay.
So it's something that's really easy to apply for. People can go online. We have brochures that we can give to someone. They go online. It's a one page application form, and then they wait.
Yeah.
But yeah, aid and attendance is a wonderful benefit that's not very well known, that's available to anybody in any branch of the military, as long as they have some needs in terms of bathing, dressing, medication, things like that they have. It's a wonderful benefit.
And their spouses are eligible if their military spouse served during time of combat. Yes. During those years.
Yep.
They could have served behind a desk.
Yes. As long as their tenure of service included 1 day of active wartime. Yes. And it doesn't mean they were on the front lines.
That's
it just means during their time of service, there had to have been at least 1 day of war.
Yes. Yeah. Isn't that? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very, very specific.
Yep. Yep. Yeah.
So that's a big reason to take a look at Atria versus some of the other independent livings, just because there's a lot of movability. You can navigate.
Yeah, there's a lot of flexibility here, and what I usually tell people is that if independent living is wonderful, it provides wonderful services. It's much better socially than being at home. But if they're going to be honest with you, most independent livings are really an apartment building of seniors with a dining room, and that's it. They don't have overnight staff. They don't do daily check-ins. They don't do any of the things that we do in terms of the level of service that we do, in part because we're an MUHS registered building, but also because Atria Senior Living wants to take really great care of the people that are in our buildings. So, we, like I said, the daily check-ins that we do, the overnight staff that we have here, 24/7 to have somebody on site in case of an emergency is paramount when someone has a health issue. Time is of the essence.
For sure.
Yeah. So we get to keep people here longer than most independent livings because we have those extra layer of services.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I think one of the benefits that people don't really realize, if you're in a home and you need help with activities of daily living, and you have someone come from an agency or a service, often they have requirements for so many hours, and they will bill accordingly. But whenever you're in a building like this, that what you refer to as the 15-minute drive-by, meaning they will break down the services that they can provide into as small as 15-minute increments that they bill for. So you actually have a huge savings versus often it's a 4-hour requirement, and it's 4 hours every day for 4 days minimally for that license, for that company to come in and take care. So you really can save money by being in a community like this.
Quite honestly, at home, even Always Best Care is our care agency that we have on site. We have a long-term, about 7-year relationship with them here in our building. Even their agency, if they go to someone's home, is going to bill in a 4-hour minimum time block. So if someone needs, for example, help with medication in the morning, or we've got a gentleman who needs help in the morning getting his compression stockings on. That's like a major effort to get those on for him. But so someone comes by and they only bill for 15 minutes. They do a quick little visit with him, help him with his medication, get his compression stockings on, and then he's off and running for the rest of the day, literally for the rest of the day. And then they do the reverse at night. They do another 15 minutes. At home, that would be an automatic 8 hours, because 4 hours in the morning, and then the other need is in the evening. So another 4 hours, it would be an 8-hour time block. So there's people at home that can easily spend, $20,000 a month with getting the help in the time blocks that are mandated, with getting the help that they need. And what we often hear is that they're having somebody at home, they're making up things for them to do.
Right.
Can you do laundry? Can you do can you take out the garbage? Drive me to go get an ice cream cone, just to find things to do, because they're paying for them to be there anyway.
Right.
And if they don't find things for them to do, then what they're doing is the caregiver's on their phone and they're paying them good money to, not do a whole lot.
Yeah. And
it's very unfortunate. And so, a lot of times, because our average cost here is going to be for one of our apartments between $5,000 and maybe $6,000 a month. And initially, I think people are kind of shocked by that. Oh my goodness! But that includes your meals and housekeeping and all kinds of utilities, maintenance service, everything else. And staying at home, you may not have a mortgage, but you could easily spend $20,000 a month just having someone there to provide even a little bit of service. But when you're looking at 4-hour minimum time blocks, it can add up really quickly.
It sure can. Yeah. So it's kind of the kind of hidden secret that people don't really understand or know until they're in the trenches.
Yeah.
And maybe they still don't figure that out because it just, they think, oh, this is going to be too expensive to go to senior living, or it's not something that I see myself doing.
Yeah. Yeah. And we have a wonderful breakdown worksheet that people don't realize. You're at the point now where you do your own yard maintenance. Well, you pay someone to do that.
Oh yeah.
And even though you don't have a mortgage potentially, you pay taxes. And so by the time you add it all up and break it all down, and going to the grocery store, even if you still cook, which a lot of them don't want to or don't anymore, but the cost of going to the grocery store and doing all of those things, when you come here and you get someone else to cook and clean and go to the grocery store and feed you, and so when you do a breakdown of really the cost of being at home, there's some things that are hidden costs that people don't take into account. They just say, well, I don't have a mortgage, so I'm going to stay at home. It's like, well, there's a lot more involved than that.
There's still expenses.
Yeah.
Utilities, all of that. Sure.
Yeah. And then there's the cost of being alone and the loneliness. I mean, that's a huge. There's been lots of studies that show that brain health and physical health and emotional health are all tied into socialization and having people around you. And sitting at home and not moving and not eating well and sitting in front of the TV is not a good health prospect for anyone, much less for a senior. So there's also the uncalculated cost of being at home and by yourself.
For sure.
And that's one of the big things that I find is when people get here, they will tell their family members and even tell themselves that I'm fine at home. I'm perfectly fine at home. And they've got themselves tricked into thinking my life is fine because they don't know any alternative. And those that are most resistant to coming here are oftentimes the ones that are most
the biggest advocates.
Social, and they're leading the conga line once they get here, and it doesn't take long. And in fact, it's funny. In fact, I'll have family members that will call me and say, "Gosh, Lisa, I'm really concerned about my mom. She hasn't answered the phone for 2 days. Can you go check on her?" And I'll laugh and say, "Well, she's not answering the phone because she's out at happy hour leading the conga line. When she's done and takes a break, I'll have her call you. And it's." And they're amazed because before they could always get a hold of mom because she was always sitting in front of the TV doing nothing.
That's right.
So I have a great one of my residents, and we'll try and get her at happy hour. She's wonderful, Betty. Betty, when we had her, she'll kill me for telling this story, but it's funny. When we had her come to sign her paperwork, to sign her lease, she was very resistant. Her son went to pick her up at her house. She locked herself in the bathroom, and he had to get the key off of the door jamb to get her out. Got her in the car, got her here. They pulled up under our portico. It was raining that day, and so he pulled up under the portico, got out of the car with the car running, and got around to get her out of the car to bring her in to sign her paperwork. She locked the car door. With the car running, wouldn't let him in the car. I'm not getting out. You can't make me. I don't want to do this. No way, no how. I'm not leaving my house. 45 minutes later, we finally got her to open the window and talk to us with the car still running out in the front of the building. And I finally had her convinced, Betty, I'm sure you're hungry. Let's at least get you to come in and have a sandwich. Okay, you're right. I am kind of hungry. So we finally got her out of the car, and long story short, she did sign her paperwork. She did move in, and she is one of those that within 2 weeks was at every activity, never missed an exercise class, never missed anything, and is one of our biggest success stories of somebody who went from being at home by themselves, not realizing how unsuccessful she was being at home, to being here and being the life of the party.
What is that? Maybe the biggest thing that people misjudge or don't realize about senior living, do you think, that the social aspect is so robust?
Yeah. Oh yeah. They, especially this generation of seniors that are in their 80s and 90s that are moving into our building, when they were younger, their experience was that their parent went to a nursing home. Mm-hmm. And they went there and didn't come back home, mm-hmm. and it smelled bad and the food was horrible. And so that's imprinted in their brain that that's what this is all about. And so a lot of times their first impression is not what they expected, because what they expected was that nursing home type of setting. And so to bring them here and have a nice meal and experience happy hour and everything going on, I think a lot of times they're really surprised that, oh, this is not what I expected. Mm-hmm. And in a good way, it's not what they expected. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think the misinterpretation or misunderstanding of what this community really is, and communities like this, this is a place where people come to thrive and to live a great life and to have a great next chapter. Mm-hmm. Do we have people that pass away here? Yes, but this isn't where people come to die. This is where people come to live
and thrive
and have a great life. Uh-huh. Yeah. And yeah. one of the 3x5 card speeches that I give to family members to give to their parent when they're trying to convince them to come here, at least to visit, if not live in, if not move in, is that this is not taking away your independence, because that's a big part of them being at home. Is my home is my independence. Mm-hmm. My car is my independence. Even though they're not driving and they're not cooking and they're not doing well and they're dependent upon their family members to come and help them, or caregivers to come and help mm-hmm. them. But their perception is that's my independence. And I always tell them, this is actually preserving your independence longer mm-hmm. by giving you staff around you to do things that are becoming harder for you, or that you don't want to do, or you don't care to do anymore, mm-hmm. like cooking and cleaning and driving and worrying about, climbing up the ladder and getting a light bulb in that overhead fan or something. Mm-hmm. So this is preserving your independence longer than staying at home. And they go, huh, I never thought of it that mm-hmm. way. And it's like, I know, which is why you're still at home and you're not here.
Right. Right.
So there's ways to get them to agree to come, if nothing else, to, come for a free meal. What senior doesn't love a free meal?
Right.
Come for a free meal, come to happy hour. If they like to play bridge or something and they haven't played bridge for a long time, come play bridge with us.
Sure.
We don't frame it as this is a tour and this is a sales pitch for you. This is just a way to get out of the house mm-hmm. and come and socialize with some mm-hmm. people.
Smart.
Or, hey, we're having a concert. This is the kind of music, you love jazz music. Come watch a jazz concert mm-hmm. and all of a sudden they get to talk to some other people. And again, it's all about the light bulb going on and the realization that, oh my God, this isn't a nursing home. No, this is not. No. We're having a lot of fun here.
That's right.
We're eating well. We're singing. We're doing all kinds of fun things. We're painting. Mm-hmm. We're not sitting around, drooling on ourselves waiting for the medication to come by. This is, like I said, this is a vibrant community of like-minded seniors mm-hmm. that don't want to be at home by themselves anymore and want someone else to cook and clean and drive for them.
Mm-hmm. I think that's a really important point, is to encourage those who are, even if you're, thinking, I don't think that's for me, but wonder what I might need to do mm-hmm. if I need just a little help or mm-hmm. just a little more stability mm-hmm. or whatever it is. Just go check it out, and there's no commitment.
No.
And tour a lot of different places and get a feel
yep.
for what works for you and what's not going to
yep.
work for you.
Yep.
Make a list of what's important. Use one of the financial planning mm-hmm. tools or forms mm-hmm. so that you can see, oh, actually, this is a pretty good value whenever I look at all of the things that are included.
Yeah.
And meet some people and have conversations. Because the neat thing is, now you have this kind of new family around you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
With all kinds of interesting things to talk about and interact with each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how fun is that versus, watching One Life to Live every day?
Yeah.
You know, or Jeopardy. My gosh, I don't know how many people, my aunt and uncle used to know the time of day by Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune.
Yep.
And you better shut up and sit down and, because they had to watch the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to me, one of the worst things in the world is to have one of our residents move in and be in their apartment watching TV. I mean, you can do that. I always tell people you have the freedom here to do whatever you want. You get to set your own schedule.
Right.
If you want to be in your apartment and watching TV, that's great. But why, when you've got so many other things, come to an exercise class, go learn how to make jewelry, go to a painting class, go to happy hour, go play bridge, get on the bus and go to the museum, or go to the Durham Bulls ball game that we're going to, or a DPAC show, or there's 100 other things going on. And so, yeah, what we find is that they're not just sitting around and watching TV, and they're engaged with other people. And it's, it's the classic old use it or lose it, physically and mentally. If you don't use your faculties, you will lose them.
Yeah.
So we find that people come here and all of a sudden they're walking better, they're moving better. We just saw out in the lobby, Ralph, that I said hi to. That's the first time since he moved in with his wife, maybe 7-8 months ago, that I've seen him without his walker.
Oh.
And he is walking really well. And it's because he uses a long-term care policy. And his policy allows lots and lots of physical therapy.
That's fantastic.
And he is moving better than he has in a really long time. And we see people eating better and putting weight on. Sometimes for some of us, it's not always a good thing to put. But for a lot of people that move in, they could use a few more pounds on because they haven't been eating well.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, they're, like I said, they're moving better, they're feeling better, they're more social, they're smiling more. It encouraged them being here. They needed hearing aids, but at home there was no real reason to get new hearing aids because, well, they could hear the TV well enough. And they get here and decide, I'd like to hear the conversation better at the dinner table. And they get the hearing aids that they've so needed for 2 years, but were resistant to get. And, just, again, to watch the residents blossom here and thrive and go back to where they were potentially a couple of years ago in terms of being able to move better and feeling better and laughing and smiling and telling stories. Their family, more often than not, their families come in and come in my office in tears and go, oh my God, I can't tell you how great it is. My mom hasn't danced since my son's wedding 10 years ago, and I see her dancing out at the concert. Or my dad hasn't laughed that much or told those same stories or told those same bad jokes for years. And it's really nice to see, somebody thrive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's what we're all about is come and leave your worries at the door, leave your maintenance of your house and everything behind with the next person who buys your house, and come here and don't worry about any of that.
Yeah.
Just have fun.
That's
Eat
fantastic.
well, have fun, make friends. Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Anything else? I think we've covered a lot.
I'm listening, but I'm not.
I know. Bob, by the way, was impressed with the food.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What you guys have?
Yeah, the chicken fried steak.
Yeah.
Country fried steak, whatever.
Yeah.
I order that when I go to Cracker Barrel.
Yeah.
Every night.
Yeah.
And sometimes when I go to Denny's.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite meals.
Yeah.
Alex.
Yeah. No, I love it. And again, whenever somebody goes out to tour, one of the things that I always tell them is go and have a meal. Mm-hmm. Because even if you don't participate in anything else, you have to eat. That's one of the biggest pain points of a lot of people that live in senior living places is the food is terrible, or there's not enough variety, or we get the same thing every other day. Mm-hmm. And so to be able to experience that the food and the service of the food and also the people that live there and have some nice organic conversations over a meal is really the best way to determine what place is going to feel like home for someone. So I always tell people, well, absolutely, anytime I tour someone, you have to stay for lunch, you have to stay for dinner. It's part of the experience. But I'm really proud of our food. We've got a chef that's been here for 13 years. His mom lived here up until about 6 months ago for 9 years. We just lost her about 6 months ago. So he had his biggest fan and his biggest critic at every meal.
Yeah, I heard that she used to come to the monthly meetings that the chef would have, and she had a lot to say.
But she also would defend him too. I think it was, but food is hard because food is very subjective. You can give the same, plate of salmon to 50 different people, and 20 of them will tell you it's the best salmon they've ever had. 20 will tell you it's the worst salmon they've ever had. And the rest will be indifferent or didn't remember eating it. So, you can never tell.
That's right.
But food is a really important part of everyone's day. And so the fact that there's some good variety on the menu and it's well prepared and it's prepared in-house and served with a smile to the table is a wonderful thing. That's another thing I love about what we have here is it's all restaurant style sit down dining. Mm-hmm. There's no going through with a tray, which is really difficult if anybody has a walker or any tremors or anything that's going to make that a difficult prospect. It's nice to just be able to sit down and somebody comes over and feeds you your meal, and you get to order off of a nice menu and get up and leave when the meal is done, and someone else does the dishes.
That's right.
So it's nice.
Yeah. When I was speaking with Bill earlier, he really got to a point where he was almost giddy about the housekeeping and the fact that he never has to trim a bush and he never has to do any lawn work, and so you kind of don't think about that. I don't think that's one of the first things people think about is that all of those kind of daily grind things go away, and you literally can just spend your time enjoying your life and thinking about what next fun thing can I do.
At 3 o'clock, do I want to play cards? Do I want to take a nap? Do I want to go to happy hour? Not, oh my goodness, it's so hot outside and the bushes still need to be trimmed and the lawn's been growing like crazy and I have to clean the gutters. I mean, that all goes away.
That's that's pretty nice in life to get to a point where you can walk away from all of those, you've been responsible for so many years. Why not have fun?
Yeah.
Right?
And that's the other thing. Like I said, there's a lot of sort of 3x5 card conversations that I help, family members have with their loved ones, and the, maintaining your independence, and this is preserving your independence longer is one of those. But I also have to remind the parent a lot of times that your daughter, your son, they're doing this for you, not to you. Right. This is not a punishment. This is something that you've earned, that you're entitled to. They're doing this because they love you and they want you to have a better life than you're having at home. They want you to be safe. They want you to be happy and well fed and around other people. This is all about, having a better life. And it's because you have people around you that love you. Right. And I have to always remind them they're doing this for you, not to you. Yeah. Because they somehow think it's some kind of punishment that, you're putting me in the home. They use the P word. Yeah. You're putting me in the home. And you're doing this for your benefit because you worry about me or because you don't want to have to come over and help me. And it's, no, absolutely not. I help you because you're my parent and I love you. But it's because I love you that I want you to have a better life, and I want you to be around people that, are fun, and I want you to have a better lifestyle. So that's a conversation that I have to have with family members all the time is this is about them and them having a great life and going somewhere where they can do that. So, and again, a lot of it is perception, and that perception goes out the window when they come and visit and go, oh my God, the apartments are beautiful and they've got full kitchens and I get to do laundry in the apartment and not go down the hall, and I get to be fed nice food and these people are wonderful and the staff is really friendly, and they are. Yeah. It's because we love our job. So, yeah. Visits take people a long ways.
Yeah, there's a statistic, and I probably won't get it right, from the Blue Zone, that if a lonely person, it's like if you're lonely for a year, it's the same as smoking for like 15 years. Yeah. And I probably didn't quote that quite right, but that's the gist of it, and it's shocking. Yeah. Really, when you think about what that's doing to your body.
Yeah. And I don't think people really understood that until COVID hit. And we saw, unfortunately, in all of our communities, when COVID hit and we had to shut down all of the dining and the activities and everything to keep people safe, we saw a real decline physically and cognitively and emotionally in the people in our communities. And it was an unintended social experiment that was as a result of COVID. But absolutely, there's everything to be said about socialization and being around friends and people that you love, and laughter all go into someone's physical and mental health without question. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Any last thoughts or nuggets of wisdom that you want to pass along?
Just again, that this is preserving someone's independence longer, and this makes for a wonderful next chapter. And that's a big part of this too, is understanding the emotional effect of leaving someone's house. It's not an easy thing. And sometimes I think family members and those of us around realtors, community sales directors, sometimes forget how difficult a prospect this really is to leave someone's home after 40 years, 50 years, and to downsize and make the transition. And really it's understanding that this is wrapping their head around turning the page to the next chapter in their life. And it's honestly one chapter closer to the end of the book. But it can be one of the best chapters that they've had in a really long time.
True.
And so that's how we have to frame someone's move to senior living is this is turning the page, this is downsizing, but it's all for a very wonderful reason. And this next chapter is going to be a really, really good chapter for you.
I just closed a home sale that I met the daughter and son-in-law first. And she said, my mom's just so resistant. She's 93. We've got a place. We just can't convince her to move closer to us. And I said, what are her arguments? And one of them was that she'd lived there for 30 years and all of her memories were there. So I do the math and I said, well, wait a minute. If she's been there for 30 years, she was there in her 60s. You all were out of the house long before that. So what are the memories about? Well, it turned out she had raised dogs and she judged all over the world. It was a specific breed and she had all of these ribbons and it was a big deal. And I said, is she bringing a pet with her? Does she have a dog? And she said, yes. And I said, okay, that's one hurdle. That's good. She's got a pet to bring with her to her home. Well, the thing we need to do is just make sure that the memories are in pictures on the wall and that, if there's a special ribbon or whatever it is, so that she brings that with her. And it literally clicked the switch for this lady. That's all they had to do. The daughter went and collected pictures. She said, Mom, we're going to do a whole wall so you can have, and she was all in. And she's happy as a clam. She just is so glad to have the new chapter where and they've got a little golf cart. They go back and forth to each other's place. And, so she has her independence. She has her dog. She has all of her memories and she has her daughter right there. So it may not be in a senior living community, but it's about overcoming that hurdle. And helping people to understand the things in the home are partly memories. I mean, there's specific things that you can look around your home and you think, oh, that's when I went to Italy with my mom, or that's when. And so it is important to honor all of those belongings, not everything, because you do have to downsize, but to choose some things carefully so that those memories come with. And it's comforting then to live, and it feels like home.
And part of what we do when we move someone in is we do a lot of, from start to finish, we do a lot of discovery. We do a lot of asking of questions and figuring out, one little question that I love to ask someone when they come to tour is, God forbid if there was an emergency in your home, what's something that you would take with you? Some people will say, my cat, my dog, these pictures, this statue, my husband's ashes, it's whatever it is. And out of that is usually born a conversation of, these are the things that are most important to me. And I always tell people when they make this transition and to the family members, there's a scorecard that's involved with this. Whether it's really said out loud or not, there's a scorecard. There's a win column and a lose column. And if they're going to lose more than they think, or we've convinced them that they're going to win, then it doesn't happen. So you've got to keep track of the scorecard and know that you can't ask them to give up all of their possessions. Some of them, yes. You can't ask them a lot of times to give up their dog or their cat because that's a huge loss. So we've got to make it so that the scorecard is right. And sometimes it's not the right timing yet, and we just have to wait. But you have to know that there's a scorecard.
It's a really good way to put it. I'll use that. That's great.
And if there's more loss than gain in their mind, then we haven't done our job yet to point out all of, we haven't made the math right. And until the scorecard is right, it doesn't happen.
And I think one of the things you just mentioned was if the time, it may not be time. Mm-hmm. And the concern that I always have for any senior that I have a conversation with, I see that life in general is a roller coaster, but especially as a senior, I do think that there's kind of this roller coaster of sometimes your health is here and sometimes it's here. And so often I meet someone right after it's taken a downturn, but they're getting a little stronger. They've come home from rehab and they're thinking, just a little longer at home.
Dodge the bullet.
Yeah, right. But if anything, someone who's lived for decades, if you've ever understood anything about life, is that you will go back down again.
Yeah.
And so the key is going to be in making the choice while you still have control.
Yep.
And so pulling that trigger while you still have control and you're able to do all the things you still want to do and make friends and have that all around you.
Yep.
It's going to set you up so much better when the roller coaster goes back down the hill again.
Yep, definitely. Yeah, making a decision in the midst of chaos is never the best time to make the decision. And a lot of times the options that you really wanted to have available are not.
Bottom of the barrel.
Yeah, it's just, crisis management is not fun. And that's not the time to be making the best decisions. It's when you have clarity, when you have options, when you have flexibility is really the best time to do it. Yep.
Yeah, and often when you speak to residents in senior communities, one of the things they'll say is, we're so glad we made the decision when we did because X, Y, and Z. And what they're saying is the roller coaster went down the hill a little bit.
Yep.
Yeah. And so we were already settled in. We already had friends. We already had made the decision. We didn't have to do all of this.
Yeah.
And really had no other choices because this was the place that was available.
Yep. Yeah. Or you hear, if you ask somebody a year after they've moved in, what's your biggest regret? And usually it's that I didn't do it sooner.
Yeah.
That I didn't move 2 years sooner, or that I didn't move when my husband was still alive because he would have loved it here, or something along those lines. There's always, I wish I would have done it sooner.
Yeah, yeah.
And that always resonates with me, that really, you wish you would have done it sooner. Well, we've been talking for 2 years.
Right.
And it took a year for me to convince you. And they're like, yep, you were right. We should have done this sooner. But yeah, that's sort of a common theme when you talk to any of our residents is, what's your biggest regret with moving in? And they'll laugh and they'll go, that I didn't do it sooner.
Yeah. I think it's a gift that you give yourself. It's a gift that you give to your family.
Yeah.
Because they are no longer having to worry, because they see that you're happy, because they see all of the good things that this, living in a community really does for you.
Yeah. So. Yeah. And like I said, there's tons of residents here that were very resistant from locking themselves in the car and not coming in.
Incredible.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
To just, I don't know that I really want to do this. And some level of resistance is almost always, honestly, I don't know that I ever have anybody that comes in our front doors going, woo, I'm so excited, I'm getting older and I'm not capable and I can't be at home anymore. And yay, growing old stinks, but once they get here and experience the life that they can have here, then there's the regret of I didn't do this sooner. So, and sometimes it can take someone, months, and then there's others that within days realize, God, I wish I would have done this sooner. I'm having so much fun, and they get to thrive here. It's wonderful.
Wow. Well, thanks so much for taking time for inviting us out, and we're looking forward to happy hour, which I guess, it's already started. My gosh.
Happy hour. They're already being happy.
Yeah. So I guess we can go to our next stop. So Linda, thank you so much for taking time to talk to us today.
Well, you're so welcome.
So I understand, how long have you lived here at Atria?
We will be here, we've been here almost a year.
Okay. You and your husband, Stan.
Yes, my husband, Stan.
And so tell me what that transition was like and what prompted, as much as you want to share about that.
Okay. Well, actually, it turned out to be an easy transition, but I was not sure about it at the time. So I was a little apprehensive about coming here, but my husband absolutely needed to be here because he's paralyzed from the waist down. So we decided that we would come and just give this a try. Well, it has been fabulous. I'll have to say, from about the second day, I've loved it.
Okay.
And I was the one that was trying to hold back a little bit. but it's great. We have been extremely happy here.
Okay.
And everybody's very friendly. There's no hoity-toity here at all. It's just real easy and relaxed.
And so what helped you turn the corner so quickly? Because 2 days in, you were glad to be here.
Yeah, I think it has to do with the staff and with the people that are here.
Okay.
Because they made us feel so welcome. And just, would ask us, well, join us for dinner tonight. Or let's go in the lounge and have a drink. Something that made us feel be a part. And it has continued that way. And we're just real happy.
Well, and when we just walked in here, you were at a table with about 10 other ladies, and you seemed like you were having the time of your life.
Yeah. I mean, it is really fun here. They've got stuff going on here 24/7. I mean, Stan and my husband and I cannot participate in everything because there's so much. You almost have to pick and choose.
That's not such a bad thing.
It's not bad at all. No. As a matter of fact, he's off playing bridge now.
Okay.
Where there's this big group over there doing something else where I was. So there's something going on 24/7.
So, very favorite thing about living here?
The very favorite thing is the people.
Okay.
I love
interaction.
The interaction, the kindness, the welcoming part of them, the way they have made us feel so welcome. And then the second thing that is so nice is that the food is pretty good.
Awesome.
So,
okay.
I mean, that's nice because I don't have to cook anymore. So, not having to cook and the food being good, hey, that's a real positive.
Okay.
So,
and if you could change anything, would you change anything about living here?
I can't think of one thing.
Okay.
There's a lovely yard outside with all kind of paths that you can walk, and you can get out and get all your exercise nearby just walking around. Or they have a wonderful gym here too. I don't mean it's huge, but it has most of the equipment that you need. So you can always exercise inside if you choose. And so it just works out.
Okay.
It's great.
And you moved from here in Raleigh?
Yes.
And do you have family in the area?
No, we don't.
No family?
No.
Okay.
We lived in Rocky Mount for 45 years.
Oh, okay.
And when my husband retired from dentistry, we moved to Raleigh because we did have a child here.
Okay.
But that child, after we moved here,
it happened.
She and her family have moved to South Carolina.
Okay.
So I was not happy. Was not happy.
That's not terrible. It's one state away.
Well, at least it was not because they were angry with us or anything like that. It was just because it was what needed to happen.
And so you decided, obviously, to stay here, even though she went to another state because you like it here.
Oh, yeah, we're going to stay here. And we do have another child that lives about an hour and 20 minutes away from here.
Okay, that's not bad.
So, so we're close to that one. But anyway, it is just working out beautifully for us.
Okay.
And everybody I talk to here is very happy, very happy. I haven't heard a soul that has been complaining or saying, well, we're looking for another place. I haven't heard anything like that ever.
What advice would you give to someone who hadn't really made up their mind, or that maybe they're a little, not sure about moving into senior living?
Well, I would tell them that they really need to think through it very carefully. And also, it's very helpful to look at, we looked at probably 10 facilities before we chose this one.
Okay.
And we really looked at them. We'd go in and eat.
Yeah.
They invite you to have a meal, so we'd go have meals and looked around very carefully. And this one just stood out to us.
Okay. And why did it stand out?
Just because of the friendship, because I think it's well done inside, got a nice fireplace here that we can come in the fall and winter and just sit around here and enjoy the fireplace. everything that we saw. We liked the food. We loved the people. The rooms are nice. I mean, now, you know, we're not living in a castle or anything, but our rooms are very nice. 2 bedrooms, 2 baths. And, of course, a living area and a little sun room. And they're all different. They're not all totally alike.
Right, different floor plans.
Yeah, different floor plans. But we're happy. Happy as clams.
If we went 5 years back in time, would you have thought that?
No.
No.
I would have said, I'm not ever going there.
But when you started visiting senior communities, you probably, part of what changed was the vision that you had in your mind was different than what you saw when you went, right?
Absolutely. Different. And so it shows me that, you know, probably a lot of people feel like I did, but when you start looking and you start visiting with the people and all you see, it's not like what I thought. It's just really nice.
Yeah.
Really nice.
I've said, and I keep saying, but I really do think it's true. When I was 7, I went to visit my great grandmother at the nursing home.
Yeah.
And I remember distinctly thinking, I'll never, the smell, all of it, and she was in a nicer one. I mean, we had to drive a ways to get to her because we purposely chose one of the nicer ones, right? And so I think that's not only, I think that's for several generations. That's probably our thought process is that I'm not going to one of those places.
Right. And I get it.
Yeah.
Because I kind of thought that too.
Yeah. And so senior living communities have really thought about every aspect.
Changed so much.
Yeah.
Over the years.
Cruise ship on land.
Yes, absolutely. And, you know, here they really try to make us all happy because they have fresh flowers all the time out here. And several places throughout they have the fresh flowers. And I think they try real hard to make it seem homey and comfortable.
It is your home.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Do you have a favorite activity?
No, not really. No.
Just as long as you can go be with the people.
I just haven't really gotten involved in activities. My husband has. I haven't. But I stay busy doing something all the time, but not particularly an activity.
Okay.
So,
any last thoughts that you want to pass along?
I just would say that anyone who thinks they might be happy at a place like this, or let me rephrase that. If they think they would not be happy at a place like this, they just need to come and check it out carefully and talk to the people.
Okay.
Because I think they'll find that it's different, possibly, than what they think. It's just really,
I think that's great advice.
Really works out well.
Because you don't lose anything by going and checking it out.
No.
In fact,
you don't lose anything.
You might even have a nice meal and meet a nice person.
Oh yeah,
well, there.
You will have a nice meal because they always insist that you eat.
I can smell the food over there.
Yeah. Oh, and that's the other thing I've forgotten to tell you. We have stuff going on for us all the time. They have things. I mean, now today is just visiting. That whole room is full of people just sitting out there visiting, having a little snack, just having a good time. So that's special.
Sounds pretty good to me.
Yes, it's good.
Yeah,
it's
eating
good.
And talking to friends.
And sometimes having a little drinky poo.
Oh, yeah, well, I saw that with Bridge earlier. They had the wine out.
Yeah.
They were playing bridge upstairs.
Yeah. I've never seen anybody overdrink anything, but, just a little drink for socialization. Very nice.
Because the truth is, you've got a built-in driver here anyway if you want to go anywhere later, which is probably not the case, but...
No, not usually.
Because you've got everything you need here.
You do. You have everything you need right here. They don't have a doctor on call here. But they do have the hospital's right next door, and also they have a driver here that can take you if you needed to have a doctor's appointment. They can take you from here.
Yeah,
that's part of their service.
Right. Yeah,
so,
which is really a
really
lot of peace of mind.
helpful for those that can't drive.
Yeah.
So
it's fantastic.
I totally recommend it.
Well, thank you so much for taking time to visit with us. It's nice to meet you.
Well, it's nice to meet you too, and I've enjoyed it.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're happy here, and Stan, I think it's fantastic.
Oh, thank you so much. We do too.
Yeah.
We're happy campers.
Who knew?
Who knew?
Life throws you curveballs sometimes.
That's right.
Yeah, and sometimes it's not what you think. It's not a good thing when you think it's coming at you, but then on the other side of it, there was
Turns
some
out
good.
to be a positive
That's
thing.
right.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Well, it's so good to see
yeah,
you.
too.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Appreciate
I'm gonna
it.
let you get back to your friends.
Okay.
Appreciate it. So, Ruthie, nice to meet you. Thanks for joining us here. So, tell me a little bit about yourself and what brought you to Atria.
Well, I had been here a year and a half.
Okay.
And my husband, we lived in Salisbury, North Carolina, and my husband had dementia.
Okay.
And my oldest daughter lived in Henderson. And it was too far away for her to really watch after us.
Sure.
So she wanted us to come up and join, her. And so we went to Henderson, and I told her my husband passed, and I wanted to buy a house there because I sold mine in Salisbury. And she said, "No, Mama, you need to be in a place that, be with people because you're a people person." And so we checked 4 different places out, and I still wasn't really into it, but I had one thing I liked from one place, another thing I liked from another. But I noticed, when I lived in Henderson, I was renting a house.
Okay.
And I didn't see anybody. Nobody. And my son lived with me because he had cirrhosis of the liver.
Oh.
And so we came here because everybody looks so cheerful. And then we wound up, I'm just a cut up, I danced with Charlie, and I cut up with him. He's a good sport, And like I said, I didn't think, my mind was telling me I wasn't old like everybody else. But really and truly, everybody here supported my son while he went through the hospice and everything. And I want you to know that he has fully graduated, and he no longer has cirrhosis of the liver.
Wow.
Because everybody here has supported him. They have been so sweet, so nice. And I just love it here because it's so much to do. People have a different story to tell, and it's just remarkable the fun we have here. Because I can be myself. I really can be myself here.
That's wonderful. So is that your favorite thing? Just all of the people?
We have activities. I was in sales all my life.
Okay.
And my husband was an accountant, so I had to be in sales. So I learned to do all this different stuff, and crafty. And so here we have all the pottery and floral stuff you can do, and activities that keeps my mind going, so there's no reason to get bored here.
Yeah. So that you like the activities?
Oh yeah, and I used to design the big windows in stores, and now I design the little, and I got the award in the paper today.
The niche, yeah,
the little niche. I got that one, and I love to do downsize to that, but it's fun, but everybody here is just, the administration is just treat you like you're one of them. It is so nice. And the food, I don't have to cook. That is remarkable.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. So, do you like the food?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. It's good variety.
A lot of variety.
Good variety. And the cookies. Good cookies. Yeah. No, all the food is good, and the cookie, like I said, the cookies. The desserts are too good because they're putting on a little weight. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
But I'm not going to be in Playgirl.
So you can afford a couple cookies.
I can afford a few pounds. Yeah, sure.
That's great. What advice would you have for someone who's considering, or maybe just kind of looking into living in a senior community like this?
What I do mostly as an ambassador, after they are here, I take them under my wing because that is the hardest transition. Giving up your furniture, giving up so much, and you go, oh gosh, how am I going to live without? Well, you forget that stuff because you get involved with people.
Okay.
And you're not in your apartment that much, you know?
Uh-huh.
And so I try to work mostly with the people once they get here to make it easier for them to transition over into, and I've got 2 ladies that sit at my dining table every night. They're not going anywhere else. They got to sit at my table. They fight over who's going to sit at my table.
You're kind of holding court, Ruthie.
I love it. I love it.
I think that's a great point, though. So essentially, people go into it thinking they're giving up things.
Yeah.
But it's really an exchange, isn't it?
It's a whole new life.
Yeah.
But it's a wonderful life. Yes.
So it's about the people and the life and the living versus the things.
Exactly. Oh, that does make it closer. Yeah. You're right. You got the right idea.
Mm-hmm. And really, is life about things or about experiences anyway? It
makes you closer to God, and it's just really, everybody's got a story here, and every story is different, and it makes you appreciate life here because it's never dull.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So it's this new chapter that's really a robust
we're
chapter
all
in your
family.
life.
We're just all family. It's just really wonderful.
And think about it. You've just been here 1.5 years, and you call everyone here family.
Oh, yes. I know more about people here than I do my own family.
I bet your daughter's happy to know that you're a little closer, and so she can come see you when she has the time, but she knows you're happy.
She retired from UNC as a vice president and Rex Hospital as a vice president.
Oh,
so
I see.
She even has plaques in her office from governor about all the places that she's checked out and everything. And she knows here I'm safe, I'm happy, and she don't have to worry about me.
Oh.
And that's why I tell them, a lot of people will come and they'll say, well, I won't see so-and-so. I said, you won't have time to see them. You'll be doing other things.
You have to fit them into your schedule.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah, instead of sitting around wondering when they're going to have time to fit you in theirs.
Right. Mm-hmm.
That's a pretty good problem to have.
It makes you feel you can lay down at night and you feel safe here because we have, round the clock watching. And I know whenever somebody falls or something, bam, they got somebody here to take care of.
Yeah. Hospitals around the corner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you have everything you need.
Everything is right here.
That's wonderful.
Doctors and everything.
Yeah. Any last thoughts that you want to pass along?
I just, I would just like to invite the feeling of a place that you're not being pushed, you're not being given up by your children. Let them have their own life. And you can start a new life right here. You can still see your children, but you can build up a life here that makes them happy. They can go about their way, and then you can also have your life.
Okay. That's a really great way to put it. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
So Ken, thanks so much for joining us here
Surely.
today.
Glad to do it.
Yeah. So tell me, what brought you to Atria?
Okay. Well, it's a bit of a long story, but I have it down pat.
Okay.
My wife and I moved to Raleigh from Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Oh, okay.
Both of us were faculty members at Oral Roberts University.
Sure.
And we had lived there, in fact, a total of 27 years.
Okay.
I have a daughter, son-in-law, and 2 grandkids here. So I always said, I had an equation that said, okay, daughter, son-in-law, 2 grandkids, plus retirement equals Raleigh. Because we would come see them. Well, as it turned out, she developed Parkinson's dementia. And we were not able to care for her. So she was in Falls River, right through here, Falls River, memory care.
Yes.
And my daughter looked around, and this is close, so we came here.
Okay.
So that's the reason I'm here.
I see.
She died in February.
I'm sorry for your loss.
Thank you. Yes, but so that I was already here before all of that. Anyway.
And so how long have you been here?
It's about 3.5, a little over 3.5 years.
And how do you like it?
Oh yeah, it's home to me, and I really like it. I mean, I'm very pleased. I'm very active. I'm involved in a lot of things. I'm a retired minister, so I've been ordained 58 years.
Wow.
And so I wondered what I was going to do here. I had a Bible study that we run about 20 every week, and I'm on the officers. I'm one of the secretary, and I do cornhole, trivia. I do a bunch of things. So yeah, I really like it.
Okay.
Yes.
What would be your favorite thing about living here?
Community.
Okay.
Yeah, community. I feel that. And plus, I'm a people person, so obviously I've done this kind of thing all along, and I have plenty of opportunities. That's another thing I like. The plenty of opportunities to, in my case, minister. I've done funerals, I've done weddings, I've done just about it, and a lot of counseling. And so I feel right at home doing all that I've always done. Yeah.
Yeah. And there's a need for it.
Yes.
I'm sure.
I'm finding like that. Yes. Yeah.
So, advice that you would give to someone considering a senior community like this?
Well, the number one advice I would give is get out of your room, get involved. If you're healthy enough, I mean, get into some activities. We've got over 45 activities.
Wow.
From card games to more active sports to all of that. And I would just say, if possible, and if you're healthy enough, get out of your room, get involved.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it, simply.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So, top 3 favorite things besides community. So you mentioned community.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you like what else in the
people.
activities? People.
I have a lot of good friends.
Okay.
Here, and of course I'm single, so we have quite a number of single guys here. So we get to do things together, eat together, and so forth. So that's a thing. And then I like the leadership. We've got a very quality kind of leadership, even though, we've just made a change. And but we're in really good shape. We need one more person, which would be the finance person. But I commend all of them. They're excellent, our leadership.
That's wonderful to hear.
It is important. That's important to me.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So we're here with Ralph and Berlene. Thanks for taking the time to meet with us.
Okay.
So tell us a little bit about you and what brought you to Atria. How long have you lived here?
Since September 15th.
2015.
No,
September
15th
of last year, so not quite a full year yet.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's right.
And
we looked at a number of places, and we were looking for assisted living.
Okay.
But all the places that we went with assisted living, they had small rooms, like bedrooms.
Yes.
And we couldn't even get a dresser in, even the fancy places.
Yeah.
And we came here, we've got an apartment, 2 big bedrooms. 1 bedroom we made into an office, and she gets that whole closet. And I get the whole closet in the other one.
And 2 full baths, a full kitchen.
Yeah. Yeah, full bath.
Sunroom.
2 full baths.
Lovely.
And then you have the staff here because they have on the property. Always Best Care comes and helps, so that fills the order as far as what you needed for assisted living.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So it was a nice compromise to be able to come here and have a lot more for the money, and stay together.
Yeah.
Yeah, and still have the care that you needed.
Yeah. They come up and shower, and they stand by, and they help you if you need help drying off. You're unsteady in the shower, they'll hold you.
Make sure you're safe.
Yeah. And then you get out, and both of us have dry skin, as you can see. Yeah. 91, just touch something and it'll be a bruise, and the skin's coming up. And so they put lotion all over us. And they pretty well help us if we have to with dress, get something on that bad shoulder.
Okay.
Bad knee, bad back. I'm still on the cornhole team, though.
Well, you have a good sense of humor.
Yeah. We're going to pay 2 other old folks home.
You were what?
2 other Atrias. Our team and.
Oh, I heard about that. The cornhole, competition. Yeah. Carrie and Durham are going to be in. Yeah.
Yeah. That's fun.
Yeah, that's exciting. Do you play cornhole as well, Berlin?
No, I do not.
Okay.
My right arm.
Okay.
Have a problem.
We have
with that.
3 ladies that do.
Uh huh.
And they're pretty good.
Good.
Don't know if they're going to be on the team. Depending on how many they left on the team.
Okay. They may not make the cut.
Yeah, they may not. But they're good. We play every 3 times a week for an hour.
So, what is your favorite thing about living here at Atria?
Well,
no cooking, no cleaning.
I'm right there with you. I think I'd love that too.
And all the people here that operate the place are very friendly, very helpful, and tolerant of memories and things like that.
Well, yeah, forgiving.
Yeah. Well, helpful.
Yeah.
And
beauty shop, we just get your appointment and come to the beauty shop. He gets his haircut, and I get my haircut. I get my hair done every week.
That's nice. Right here in the building.
Right here in the building.
I get my hair done every month or 2. But the people are very nice. Yeah.
And did you all move from in the Raleigh area, or were you?
Yeah. We lived in a 3-story house over in Oak Park.
Wow.
And then we moved from there.
Okay, that was a big house.
When all the kids scooted off and done with college and done with coming back home, we had the families move back in with us twice because they sold the home and it sold right away and they didn't have a place to, so they moved back in with all the kids.
They call that boomerang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But after that was over, then we said, all these stairs is too much.
Yeah.
Rather than try to put an elevator or something, we went into a 1,500 square foot place and put in a very, very nice community. But then we were having trouble with standing and cooking and a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So we decided to do this.
Was it difficult to move away from such a big house with so many belongings?
Yeah, she was boo-hooing and having to give up some of the silver and a lot of other things, clothes.
It's funny, the kids didn't want any of it.
Yeah, that's typical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And lovely furniture. Just.
So you had to do that. She was literally crying about some of it.
Yeah.
But there was a couple of daughter-in-laws, had mostly boys, but daughter-in-laws came. Sat with Berlin and helped her out. And it was less painful.
Yeah. And now that you've made the transition, you're okay with it?
I'm not really. I don't think I'll ever be okay with it.
Oh, really?
Yes.
You miss some of the things?
Yeah, I like pretty stuff.
Oh, gotcha.
I had a lot of it.
You had a lot of pretty stuff.
A lot of pretty stuff.
Have you made friends here?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Everybody's wonderful. Yeah.
So that's some consolation, right?
Yeah.
That you've made friends and have nice experiences.
Yeah, they have.
You'd think there'd be a lot of crazy
Something to
people
do
over, but most of everybody is
happy.
Nice.
That's because they have somebody cleaning their house and doing all the cooking for one thing.
Yeah. Yeah, well, they do. They come in and they vacuum and they clean the bathrooms and do the carpets and stuff like that.
Yeah. Do you have favorite activities? I know you mentioned you're on the cornhole team.
Yeah, I do that. And we love the entertainment. They have 2 or 3 nights a week at 7 o'clock. They come and entertain for an hour. They have singers, piano players, guitar and singing, and, females and males, and everything.
It was supposed to be entertainment during happy hour, but they didn't show up.
That's the first time that's happened.
That's true.
Usually
that's the first time it's happened.
Entertainment.
I see.
That
Okay.
too.
Uh-huh.
Not every time.
Well, maybe something came up. You never know.
I'm sure.
Yeah. So, would you have any advice for someone who is looking into moving into a senior community?
I'd say be aware of the finances, all the costs, and the people that run it. They're very, very important.
Make sure you like the people that when you tour.
You want to talk to the people, not just the lady that Lisa, not just Lisa, but the other people.
Yeah. I always advise people to get there for their tour a little early.
Yeah.
When I tour a place, I arrive early and I sit in the lobby to wait to speak to the salesperson, and then I talk to the residents to see what they have to say.
And here they let us go to have dinner or lunch or whatever you want. And did that. It was good.
Good. You like the food?
Yeah, pretty much. You know, it's not always exactly what you want, but it's fine.
It's the same at my house for dinner. You know, that's what's on the menu tonight, so you only get one choice in my house.
We don't get up early, so we ask for extra, and they just give us all sorts of stuff to take to our room.
Oh, okay.
And it's really nice.
That's great.
Yeah. The only problem is we thought we were going to get the monthly rent back from our insurance, and
your long-term care.
They didn't pay.
It refuses.
So. And some people here did with the same kind of insurance but different companies.
Policies vary, from company to company, and
So they pay for the Always Best Care, which is just a little bit, $40, $50 a month for each of us. But the $5,395, we didn't get anything for it.
Yeah. Well, and part of that though, you in the house that you lived in, you had probably some. If it was a 3-story house in Oak Park, you were probably paying some decent enough property taxes and homeowners insurance. You had some costs there.
I had that.
Yeah, so that's part of taking a look at the finances, right? To make sure that you can cover it all.
Even at the smaller place, there we had some dues as well.
Right, homeowners dues. Yeah, sure.
But and we were in like 1,500 square feet there. Here, our apartment is very roomy, and they have an extended area that sticks out, and it's got
a sunroom.
Nice
they call it a sunroom. It's an extension of the living room.
Yeah. Sounds a little bit like Bill and Elaine's apartment. We saw it earlier today.
Okay.
It had kind of an L shape. Yeah.
Ours goes like this, and then it gets real wide.
Oh, okay.
And then there's a bedroom here and a bedroom here, bedroom, bathroom, closet.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a lot of space.
Any last thoughts that you'd like to pass along? Anybody watching?
No, I'd just say that looking into the people that run the place is very important.
Okay. Pay real close attention to that when you go look. Okay.
Yeah, and if you expect insurance to pay, be sure to know what it covers.
I think if you have long-term care insurance, it's very important to really find out all the rules and regulations. Cause
we were told that it was
probably
almost
okay.
a sure thing that we would get paid. And
you're mumbling.
Escalated, and finally went to the state, North Carolina, because they have a special license here.
I know they do. Yeah.
And the state didn't back us up, so
Wow.
for gas and water. But that's the 5,395. I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
That's the only negative thing we have to say.
Yeah. Okay.
That's all. It's the only thing.
Okay. Yeah. Well, thank you both for taking the time to talk to us. Appreciate it. Yeah. I hope you have a good night.
Thank you.
Yeah.